Welcome everyone. We're taking a look at the readings for Trinity Sunday, which we just celebrated this past Sunday. It's the beginning of Ordinary Time. Today's Wednesday, so we're going to be looking at the second reading from Mass, from the lectionary. And in the Connections workbook and in the Connections program, there's always a brief explanation for the first reading and the second reading. Gives us some of the background to the reading so that when we hear it at Mass or reflect on it later, we can appreciate it a little better. So let's just take a look at some background information for our second reading. It's taken from chapter 8 in the letter to the Romans. Up until chapter 8, I think Paul's only mentioned the Holy Spirit like 5 times. In chapter 8, he's mentioning it like 28 or 29 times. So this is when he really starts talking about the Holy Spirit. The Spirit is immediately mentioned in this passage. And the passage says that we are led by the Holy Spirit and that we do not have a spirit of slavery, but a spirit of adoption, that we've been adopted by God. What else? This passage is going to refer to God not just as a generic God, but God as a Father. And it uses the Aramaic word for God, ABBA. Most of the time Paul doesn't do this. He doesn't use Aramaic words or Hebrew words. He's writing mostly for Jews, for Gentiles. So they don't understand those languages. He writes in Greek. This is an exception. So the word ABBA is really, really important. Okay, and then what else? It reminds us that we are heirs with God, and we're heirs with Jesus Christ. So everything that Jesus inherited, we're going to inherit as well. But, a little sobering note here, Paul says to the Romans, but you know what? We will inherit everything that Jesus has because we're heirs with him, but we may have to suffer first for him as well. So, we're going to take a look now at the reading. A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans. Brothers and sisters, those who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. For you did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you received the spirit of adoption, through which we cry out, Abba, Father. The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs. Heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ. If only we suffer with him, so that we may also be glorified with him. So, Paul says that when we're baptized, we receive a spirit, not a spirit of fear or slavery. We receive a spirit of adoption, where we become God's son, God's sons and daughters. Now, because we are baptized and because we have a faith in Jesus Christ, a relationship with Jesus Christ, we're able to refer to God, to experience God as our Father, Abba. You know, the word Abba is a little bit more tender than just a straight father. It almost sounds a little bit like daddy or pop-pop. And so, okay, Paul says that everything God has, we're his children, we inherit from the Father, from our parents. We're heirs of God. We're also heirs with Jesus Christ. We're joint heirs with him because we are brothers and sisters with him. And Paul, like I said earlier, just reminds the Romans that it's not always easy being a Christian. We may have to suffer a little bit in order to be glorified with Jesus Christ. Here in this world, we experience some of Jesus' glory here, but definitely will be completely glorified in heaven on the last day. So, I'd encourage you, if you have the Connections workbook, to prayerfully reflect and journal on the second reading. And because this is Wednesday, pay special attention to how this reading may relate to your life. Thanks, everyone. Come back tomorrow, and on Friday we're going to be taking a look at our Sunday's Gospel. God bless.